This is Gonzalo Garcia.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold's cross! And Gonzalo Garcia with a header! 1-0!
This is Benzema. This is Gonzalo Garcia.
For Gonzalo Garcia, that's not a good clearance by Gadou. Gonzalo Garcia for 3!
This is Benzema again.
Benzema on the turn.
Benzema left a legacy. But Real Madrid didn't wait long for the next chapter. And guess what? They are replacing him with a homegrown star. 4 games, 4 goal contributions. Gonzalo Garcia isn't just stepping up, he's stepping into history. This might just be Benzema 2.0. But how good is Gonzalo Garcia, and how does he fit into Xabi plans? Let's talk about that. You know, when Xabi Alonso was appointed as Real Madrid's manager, the expectations were sky high. Not just because he's a club legend, but because of what he did at Bayer Leverkusen. He didn't just build a team there, he built a system, a machine. And now, it feels like he's quietly doing the same thing in Madrid. From the outside, it might seem like Madrid is just doing what they always do, winning games, progressing through tournaments. But if you look closer, there's a clear difference in how they're playing under Xabi. It's more structured, more intentional. The midfield feels more balanced. The defense is tighter. And even though he's still early into the job, he's already managed to inject calmness and clarity into the way this team operates. And we've seen the result of that in the Club World Cup. Real Madrid have been solid. Not flashy, not reckless, just effective. They haven't lost a single game in the tournament. That 1-1 draw against Al Hilal might have raised a few eyebrows, but it showed something else: control. Even when they aren't dominating, they don't fall apart. Then there was that match where they went down to 10 men. Most teams would have crumbled under that kind of pressure. But not this Madrid. They stayed in it, stayed sharp, and still found a way to win. That's the kind of mentality shift Xabi brings. And of course, the 3-0 win against Salzburg was clinical. Controlled from start to finish. No panic, no chaos. Just a professional job done with precision. And then came the big one, Juventus, round of 16. A real test of character. And Madrid didn't just scrape through. They beat them 1-0. They earned that result. That's 4 games, unbeaten, progressing with confidence. What's even more impressive is that this is still a team in transition. Xabi hasn't even had a full season to shape them. But already the way they're moving, defending, pressing, it all has his fingerprints. And most importantly, this isn't just a team that's winning. It's a team that's learning how to win with identity. But even with all this progress, all the tactical tweaks and unbeaten momentum, the biggest story of this tournament so far hasn't been the wins. It's been the rise of one player. And that brings us to Gonzalo Garcia. Because honestly, this guy has been the real headline of the Club World Cup, not because he's flashy or overhyped, but because he's consistent. And for a young player at Real Madrid, that means everything. He's not some random name pulled from the academy to fill numbers. Gonzalo's been building toward this moment. He's a product of Real Madrid's youth setup, and you can tell. He's calm on the ball, he understands space, he times his runs, and more importantly, he doesn't panic in front of the goal. That kind of maturity at his age? That's rare. You can't teach that, and the numbers speak for themselves. 4 games in the Club World Cup, 4 goal contributions. He's not just showing up, he's delivering. Whether it's a key assist or a decisive finish, he's involved when it matters. And this isn't happening in easy matches. These are knockout-level games, high-pressure situations where mistakes cost you everything. Gonzalo's not just surviving those moments, he's shaping them. What's even more interesting is how he plays. He's not your typical poacher who waits in the box. He drops deep, connects with midfielders, drifts wide when needed, and makes intelligent off-the-ball movements. Sound familiar? It should, because that's exactly what Karim Benzema used to do. That's why people are already drawing the comparison. Not because Garcia is trying to imitate Benzema, but because his natural game mirrors that same selfless, intelligent, and clinical style. You watch him once, and it's clear. This guy understands football on a deeper level, and I think what makes it even more exciting is the timing. Real Madrid have been in a bit of a striker limbo ever since Benzema left. Joselu has stepped in here and there when he was with Real Madrid, but he's more of a traditional forward. Effective, yes, but limited. Garcia is different. He can play between the lines, link play, and still be a goal threat. It's not just about numbers with him, it's about presence. When he's on the pitch, he gives Real Madrid something they've missed since Benzema's departure. A focal point who doesn't just wait to finish chances, but helps create them. And that's exactly what Real Madrid need if they want to compete at the highest level under Xabi Alonso. But what's even more important is how Xabi is using him. Because if you look at the way Xabi Alonso's system works, especially back at Bayer Leverkusen, there's a clear pattern. But before we talk about that, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. If you really want to understand why Gonzalo Garcia fits so well into this Real Madrid setup under Xabi Alonso, you need to look at how Xabi builds his teams, especially what he did at Bayer Leverkusen. That wasn't just a well-organized side. It was a team built around the importance of having a proper number 9. At Leverkusen, everything started with the striker. When Xabi had Victor Boniface leading the line, the whole system clicked. Boniface wasn't just a goal scorer, he was a physical outlet, someone who could receive the ball under pressure, link with midfielders, and pull defenders out of position. He gave Leverkusen structure in the final third. And when he was injured, what did Xabi do? He turned to Patrick Schick, another classic forward. Different style, yes, but still a true number 9. Because for Xabi, that role isn't optional, it's central. That striker doesn't just finish plays, he starts them. He gives you width without leaving the center. He keeps the center backs occupied, which opens up space for wingers and midfielders to push forward. He acts as a pivot when the team is under pressure. And in tight games, he becomes the difference maker, not by chasing the ball, but by making others around him better. And now in Real Madrid, from day one, you could tell Xabi was going to need someone to fill that role. A striker who wasn't just a finisher, but a facilitator. That's why Gonzalo Garcia's rise is so important. He's not just scoring goals, he's fitting into the one role that Xabi needs to function at his best. You watch Garcia play, and you see those same traits Xabi relied on with Boniface. The way he receives the ball, shields it, brings others into the play, and still finds ways to get into scoring positions himself. That's not a luxury, that's tactical glue. It's also why Garcia's emergence couldn't have come at a better time. Because if Madrid didn't find someone like him, Xabi would have been forced to compromise. Either use a false 9, push a winger inside, or go for someone like Joselu for a short time who doesn't offer the same versatility. But now, he has a young striker who understands the role and is already performing at the level Xabi demands. And the scary part is, this is just the beginning for Garcia. He's not even at his peak yet, but tactically, technically, and mentally, he's already ahead of where most young strikers are. And that's what makes him so valuable. So now the question isn't just whether Garcia fits into this system, it's how Madrid can maximize him, even with someone like Mbappe likely playing as the starting 9.
Mbappe!
Let's be honest, Mbappe will probably start most games as the central striker, especially in the big matches. He's the marquee signing, the proven match winner, and it's hard to bench someone of his quality. But that doesn't mean Gonzalo Garcia should fade into the background. In fact, this is exactly where he can be most dangerous, coming off the bench, changing games, and growing into that role over time. Think about what Joselu was for Real Madrid not long ago. He wasn't starting every game, but when he came on, he made things happen. He scored crucial goals, rescued tight matches, and brought something different in the final third, just like he did in the game versus Bayern. That role, the reliable impact sub, is exactly where Garcia can start. But here's the key difference. Garcia has more long-term upside. He's younger, sharper in link-up play, and already more adaptable to Xabi's system. So Madrid doesn't need to throw him into the spotlight immediately. They need to be smart. Let him come off the bench in big games. Let him start in domestic cup matches or against mid-table La Liga sides. Slowly, steadily, build his confidence and minutes. Because when he's on the pitch, you feel the difference. The movement improves, the attacking structure looks more fluid, and he offers something that neither Mbappe nor Joselu brings: balance. And this depth matters. One of the biggest problems Madrid had in recent seasons was the lack of attacking options from the bench. If the starters couldn't break through, there weren't many alternatives. But now, if you're chasing a goal with 15 minutes left and you bring on Gonzalo Garcia, that's a real threat, not just a body in the box, a player who can change the game. And look, we've seen this story before. Remember that season not long ago when Madrid had that late surge? Benzema hit world-class form, and it all just clicked? That kind of season doesn't come from the stars alone. It comes from depth, from players like Garcia who step up when no one's watching, and deliver when it matters most. So yes, Mbappe might take the spotlight, but Garcia, he could be the difference between a good season and a great one. And if Real Madrid plays this right, if they manage Garcia's development without rushing him or benching him into silence, they might not just have a good backup, they might be shaping their next number 9. You know, Real Madrid doesn't often stumble into greatness. Most of the time, they build it. Quietly, strategically, piece by piece. And with Gonzalo Garcia, it feels like we're watching the very first stages of something that could become huge. Think about what we've seen already. A young striker stepping up in high-pressure games. A manager in Xabi Alonso who understands how to use a proper number 9 better than most. A system that requires someone like Garcia to thrive, and performances that remind us not vaguely but clearly of a young Benzema. And no, we're not saying Gonzalo Garcia is Benzema. That would be unfair to both players. But what we're saying is the signs are there. The movement, the control, the mentality, the awareness, it's all pointing in the right direction. And the fact that he's doing it at a club like Real Madrid, in a tournament with everything on the line, makes it even more impressive. Now with Mbappe coming in, things will shift. Garcia won't be the first choice, and that's okay. Because if he keeps doing what he's doing, impacting games, linking play, scoring goals when it matters, he's going to earn more than just minutes. He's going to earn trust. And if Real Madrid plays this season right, if they use Garcia smartly the way they did Joselu, if they let him grow and take over games from the bench or start when needed, then this could be one of those seasons. The kind of season where they lift big trophies. The kind where someone unexpected rises and becomes the story. The kind of season where another Ballon d'Or starts to feel like a real possibility. Whether it's this year or the next, the signs are clear. Real Madrid may have lost Benzema, but in Gonzalo Garcia, they found something that feels awfully close to the next one. Benzema 2.0? Maybe not yet, but the foundation is already in place. But what do you think? Is he crucial to Madrid winning anything next season? Well, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out our last video on why Gyökeres would be perfect for Arsenal. Thank you.